Hello, I'm Tiffany Parks, and this is A Bittersweet Moment with Katy Sewell.
Hello, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katy Sewell, and this is your midweek Bittersweet Moment. I have a kind and considerate mother. Not to mention a mother who was very attentive while I was growing up, and she saved boxes and boxes of stuff from my school days. Some of these boxes I've held on to for years, and lately I've been going through them. Memorabilia from elementary school and middle school. Perhaps you've done the same. It's like peering back into the past, both at who you were and how you learned and what you learned, which of the teachers were encouraging with their smiley faces and stars and happy notes that say "great!" exclamation point circled at the top of the page, or the other teachers who are a little more biting in their comments. And then there are the full lessons, papers and papers that I'm sure my mother only saved because I put so much work into the assignment. And I had a 6th grade teacher. He had a horseshoe mustache and plaid shirts every day, and he scared me to death on the first day of class by telling us newly minted middle schoolers that we weren't in elementary school anymore, and in his class, he was going to expect 6th grade quality work. 6th grade quality work. Neat, tidy, perfect. I came to learn that that's what it meant because at the time I had no idea what 6th grade quality work could possibly be. And I found all that 6th grade quality work in the box, and I looked through it. The table of contents on the first page about what was enclosed in the packet, and the 2 official rules for social studies, which I'm sure the teacher instructed us to write down neatly. Number 1, don't talk when a student or a teacher is talking. And number 2, must have fun in social studies. I was kind of surprised by rule number 2, to be honest. And maybe that's why we hold on to papers like these, because I don't remember ever having fun in social studies. I remember that he was a good teacher and a good man. And I flipped through the papers admiring what we had learned about and how rudimentary some of my knowledge was at that time, quite honestly. And then I did something that I never expected that I would ever do. I threw all of that 6th grade quality work into the recycle bin. And then I did the same with my language arts notebook from 5th grade and a bunch of the art I had made on styrofoam when I was a kid. Speaking of which, by the way, for those of you who are in the know, do you remember back when brads used to feel like something that you would use regularly? Do you remember brads? There are so many brads in my artwork back in the day. The artwork that I no longer have because I threw it away. Now, you know me, if you've listened to this show a long time, I am blatantly and obviously sentimental. So I did keep things that seemed overly special, and slowly, and I will admit very painfully, I am letting go of the rest. But I mean, what else is there to do? Eventually something has to be done with this stuff. Even the really hard to let go stuff for a sentimental person like me. But the truth is, or at least what I've realized over the last few days of doing this, is that I can let go of the actual 6th grade quality work and still remember clear as day how difficult it was to create. The memory is still there, even if the work is now, all these years later, actually gone. This reminded me of years ago around Christmas Day when I spoke to my friend Ed Yunker on the phone. Ed was in his 80s and facing a serious illness and nearing the end of his life. And Ed and I met a long time ago in my very first play, The King and I, put on by the Community Theater in Brainerd, Minnesota. Ed was in his 40s at the time, and he was cast to be the King of Siam, and I was a 2nd grader, and I was cast to be his littlest princess. As such, we were in a few cute scenes together, and he was exceedingly kind to me. And as a, 8-year-old, I admired him so much. I admired him greatly To me, he was like no one I had ever met. To me, he was a real star, quite honestly, and a star that actually knew my name. Now, as you would expect, we did lose touch after the play. Of course we did. He was in the middle of his life, working a real job, having his kids of his own, and I was going into third grade. But I never forgot him, and I didn't keep it that way. Once I got to high school, long after I'd moved away from Minnesota to Washington State, I somehow obtained Ed's address, and I wrote him a letter. And I told him how much he had meant to me when I was just 8 years old. And the greatest thing ever, he wrote me back. And over the years, our contact with each other continued. Letters, eventually phone calls, and then in-person visits. So going all the way back to that Christmas, when Ed and I were talking on the phone for a couple hours, he was in the process of going through all of these memories that he had saved. Playbills, notes, articles from the newspaper, cards, awards, all kinds of stuff. Basically, boxes just like the one my mom gave me that I've been going through. And he said to me, "What am I supposed to do with it all? I suppose I have to just throw it away because it doesn't actually mean anything to anybody but me. But it's so hard for me to throw it away. Like, these are great memories." And I told him that I understood, and I really do. It's been a week since the recycling truck came and took away my 6th grade quality work, and I'm still having regrets about it, to be honest. But I told Ed, you could choose a couple of the things in that box and send them to me. I care about it, and I'll happily make a museum to you in my office. And he laughed and said, no, I'll just have to face up to this and start cleaning it out. I had planned to go visit Ed in 2025, and because of circumstances, I wasn't able to make it. And Ed died on August 1st, 2025. In his last email to me, he ended it by saying, "Take care and stay in touch." After he died, I sent a card to his wife, and weeks later, after the funeral, I received a package from his daughter, who I have never met. It included a DVD of Ed's funeral service, which I have yet to watch, and more so, it contained 3 handmade cards that I sent to him in the 2nd grade. One said, "I like you a lot," and the other, which had a hand-drawn portrait of him as the King of Siam inside, had the note, "You're a good actor. I'm glad you're the king in this play." He had saved these cards for 40 years and had saved them long before he ever knew that he would see me again. And I guess he just couldn't get rid of them. Or maybe he did take me up on my offer to make a museum to him in my office. I don't know. It does beg the question, though, and the same question he faced, and the same one that I've been tackling in recent days as I go through my old schoolwork. How should we manage these memories when the memories are held in tangible objects? What do you think? You can write to me at bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com. You can always reach us that way. And we'll leave it there. This has been your midweek Bittersweet Moment. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.